Do you want to sort of talk about what are some of the factors that have historically shaped the city's weather conditions,
And
climate?
geographically as well.
Absolutely.
So, I hope, Harini agrees with this. What
Please go
is the height? Because, it's on top of the Deccan Plateau. It's 3,190 feet above sea level. And it's actually a ridge. And because of that, it has a kind of hill kind of weather system. In the monsoon, you get copious rain because of the Palghat Gap, as they call it, because there is a gap in the Western Ghats, and the trajectory of the southwest monsoon, allows clouds to come right up to Bangalore, and we get a lot more rain than there is a rain shadow area even in Bangalore. If you go past Yelahanka, there is less rain because of that. It's only the higher. There was a minister in the past, who said, "Why don't you chop the Western Ghats so the Yelahanka gets more rain?" I remember somebody said that. Honestly, it's true. Okay, so that is one thing. The other reason also for the rainfall thing is that because of its location in the Deccan Plateau, we even catch the margins of the northwest monsoon. So if we get an average, we used to get 108 days of rain in a year those days. I don't have any count now because it just rains all kinds of times now. So I can't make out when it is. But at least 80 days of rain you should get in Bangalore. These are the primary reasons. The last one is, these days what happens is when whether it's the monsoon clouds or just the formation, we used to get March summer rainfalls we would get, is that because the Pacific has become warmer, the clouds that come are warmer, and when they come into contact with colder air, they condense instantly, and that's why you have cloudbursts happening in the Himalayas, for instance, now.
Yeah.
So
Which is now, right?
But because Bangalore's air would be cooler at the top, it will rain very quickly when warmer air, comes into contact with cooler air. So those are the reasons I can think of.
Hari, you want to take that up and also talk about the rains that you were mentioning, how it's almost a ritual it used to be a ritual in the city that it would rain every evening and by morning it was clear.
Bangalore was always very peculiar in some ways. So,
go ahead.
If you start, of course, it is on the plateau. So, the temperature it's cooler than the surroundings. It's also in the rain shadow of the Western Ghats. So, it's semi-arid, but more, like Prakash was saying, it gets more rainfall in the surroundings. A few things that people have also done. If you look at the trajectory of Bangalore and you go back maybe 800,000 years ago, it was completely semi-arid, open landscape, trees, very few trees, almost none of these lakes were around. And each of them has been created by people. So they were actually, depressions in the ground. So in that sense, what our own research has shown is till the 1890s, as more and more people came in, they created more and more water bodies. 1890s was the last, Sankey Tank was one of the last lakes.
Okay.
And then that, it stopped then. But they still continued to plant trees. So till the 1980s, with Negenhal and Shyam Sundar of the Forest Service, there were lots and lots of trees planted in Bangalore.
Also, I just want to interrupt. Yeah. See, I think it was Francis Buchanan when he came in 1800, when he came into what is now Bangalore, he said this is naked country.
A very naked country.
Yeah,
and you can completely see it in the trees. And that sort of, sorry.
No, I was just saying, yes, that's what Buchanan wrote.
Yeah.
And when you come to that, I think there are 2-3 things that we have forgotten. You're very right. In the Bangalore that I remember in the 80s, 70s, 80s, I'd say even the 90s, like clockwork, it would start raining somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. And then by sometime in the night, you wake up in the morning, 6:30, rain is done. So it is very sort of convenient.
Clean
rain.
And
clean.
You
could
morning.
plan, you could plan your day around it. And it was also very interesting because it was the only city, I remember when I was in IISc, the Indian Institute of Science, you had a road and this side of the road would be raining. I'm not saying a long road, but along the width of the road, one half of the road would be raining and the other half would be bone dry.
Yeah.
You would actually have this very, very regional variation. Rajashinagar was always very rainy. JP Nagar would always get less rainfall. But if you again look at the trajectory of the city, it's all to do with the elevation. We now think of it as homogeneous because Bangalore was a rocky and undulating city with such wide terrain differences. And now we've kind of raised that, right? We filled in the wetlands. We have blasted out all the rocks. And it's relatively flat in the elevation now compared to what it was before. But that also means the regional variation, because the east was very flat, the west was very rolling hill. You don't see those differences anymore. And that has really modified the microhabitat. So the rainfall patterns, everything else has changed because we've modified the topography of the city.
What about you, Mr. Singh?
Part of it is due to the overall global warming now. The rainfall patterns have changed. As Harini was saying earlier, it was called the office goers rain because it would start at about 5 o'clock and then end at about 7:30.